Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here with another episode of At Your Side Virtually. And we've got a really fun project today. So you know her, you love her. May Flaum is on here with the Sublimation printer. And I'm so excited for this. This has been one of the coolest things. Well, actually, Brother came out with a lot of cool things this year. But this one rates pretty high. So May, how are you?
Hi. You know what? I am good. And I'm especially excited today because as you see, there's a new Brother machine on the desk here. I know. And it's so exciting because it's a little much at first, you know, when I was first thinking about and looking at it, but oh my gosh, is this fun. And it's easy too. It's so much easier than I thought it would be.
I cannot wait to see this. I don't have one in my hands yet. It's coming, but I have a list about this long of things that I want to do. So I can't wait to see what you're working on. I might have to knock that to the top.
Oh, you know what? It is going to totally work. It's going to go all the way up to the top. And I wasn't sure. The way that it works is you go through the Artspira app, which a lot of us are familiar with, and you guys have seen me do stuff with the scan and cut. It's the same process, but now we're looking at sublimation printing designs instead of cutting designs, which is just a whole different world. And now I'm even starting to play with photographs. So a photograph and then bring that in and then do something with that. It's honestly really exciting. So I thought today to kick it off, because obviously we'll have to revisit. This cannot be a one and done for me. I'm going to be spending a lot of time. And it's so cute too. It's got all the little rainbow accents and everything. It's just super cute. You can see, up in the corner.
Oh yeah, look at those.
It's
super
darling. Cute. And you know what? It was way easier to set up and get going than I thought. So I figured today would talk to you guys about the setup, just the basic, how you're going to set it up, and then we'll print an ornament since it seems like a good idea for December. And I'll show you some examples of what I've been doing and what we should not do, because let me tell you, I've made some mistakes. That's part of the process, but I can spare you some mistakes.
Oh,
so we can spare you some mistakes so that you don't try that. Don't try that at home. Don't make that same error at home.
We love that. We love that. In fact, everyone, we are streaming on YouTube and Facebook. We're live in the comments today, so be sure to leave your comments, questions, like and follow Brother and May. I love it when I find out what I shouldn't do first. It saves me a lot of time.
Oh, yes. And there are some things like, look at these little birds. Aren't these cute?
Oh, those are adorable.
So I'll just tell you guys right now that things like these little birds have me thinking, like, can you imagine some, like, just some stitching around, like you put this on fabric and then have some stitching around here, like some kind of funky wild stuff going on, or some little accent. Oh my gosh. I have so many ideas for this machine. So first of all, what is it going to do? It's going to print out whatever it is that we told it to print out. It's going to print it out on special paper. And here's a few examples of the paper, right? So it doesn't look too exciting. It doesn't look too bright. It just looks like, that's not a very good printer, right? But that's not the case at all. The way that the process works, it's really interesting. After we heat press this, and I'll show you this one as an example here. Look at the difference in how vivid and how beautiful. So after we do the heat press, the colors aren't very bright. Do I need to do? No, I don't need to do anything. That's going to happen when I transfer it. So that's thing number one we want to know. To set it up, this is my second package of paper, because you can imagine I've been having all kinds of fun. And you can see right on the paper pack, there's all kinds of ideas. Mugs, tote bags, shirts, sweatshirts, socks. And then I've been playing with items that are, quite honestly, inexpensive, but also really easy to work with and practical at this time of year. I've been working with ornaments and keychains because I think they'd make great little gifts. And now that I've worked out the photography side of things, I'm thinking, like, some friends, I can take a picture of their pet and make them an ornament that's custom with a picture of their pet or their child, or, whatever it might be. So the things you need to know right off the bat, there's special paper. And you see, we've got the Brother paper. The machine comes with some paper. You're going to need blanks, meaning blank surfaces that we can put the stuff onto, but they also have to be for sublimation. So that's something important to know, that I can't just go grab, darn it anyway, but I can't just grab anything out of my studio and turn it into a sublimation project. It has to be for sublimation. Okay, so that's an important note. The next important note, and I will find my example, there it is. The next very important note, I'm going to find my other example here, is that, here's a few of them. I have so many examples. Oh, here, this is the best one. Okay, so you see how terrible that looks. You see how the color is off and it's kind of blurry over here. And I'll show you the other side. I've got another example where the color didn't come through all the way. I thought maybe I could just use my iron and just use an iron like I do with heat transfer, not a proper heat press. That is not true. The iron does not get hot enough. You have to have a heat press. And if you go online and do a search, oh my goodness, there's a lot of different heat presses in a lot of different sizes, but they all work the same. They have a base and then they have the hot side, and you press, and whatever it is that you're trying to do sublimation printing onto is going to have the colors transfer nicely. That does lead into my very last, you have to know this, you cannot skip this. You will also need to get a heat press as well as some tape. It has to be for sublimation, in other words, heat safe tape, because you're going to want to tape your design down. If you don't, see May's other example of what not to do. This is such a cool design, and it's not going to be thrown away. I'm going to add hand stitching to save this, but do you see how down here, do you see all the blur?
Oh yeah, I do see that.
So it wiggled during the process, and at the end when I lifted, it wiggled, which caused some blurriness because I did not have my materials taped together.
Oh.
And basically what you're looking at for that is you just really need to have whatever you're going to be working on. It just needs to be stuck on the material, and the printer paper need to be stuck together. By sticking them together, then you avoid that shadowy stuff because it wiggled, because it moved. You can see on this side it didn't. It was on this side that it wiggled. So I share my failures with you because I think it's really important to know what not to do, right? It's important to know we don't want to do these things because these things are going to be a problem. These things are going to make whatever we're trying to create not work. So now that we've got that out of the way, we need our blanks, we need our heat press, we need our heat safe tape, and of course our printer. Let's go over the printer and let's print something. And I'll show you how easy it is. So the paper, and I don't know if I need more paper now or not, but we'll give it some anyway. Right at the bottom of the tray, there's paper. And the handiest tip I saw in the book is that one of your corners on the paper, thank you, brother, it has a notch. And you want that notch in this bottom corner. Excuse me. I point that out to you because knowing that that needs to be in that bottom corner is in the instructions. When you get the machine, pull it out of the box, it's right there in the instructions. But that makes sure that the side of the paper that needs to get printed on is in the correct position. I love that because how many times with photo paper have I put the wrong side or messed something up backwards? This makes it so I don't need to worry about it at all. And that gets closed in. The little screen here is adjustable. I'm just going to say okay because it's asking me what kind of paper did I put in there. The screen here, it doesn't. It says, excuse me, ma'am, close your cover. The screen here, we're really not going to do anything with unless you're trying to set up Wi-Fi or trying to adjust or set something up. So that is really just, that's not for us for printing. That's for maintenance, for the Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff. Now let me pull out my tablet and pull up Artspira here. Okay. It's just going to wake up. So now in Artspira, and you may have noticed this if you've logged on recently, there's so many more options. And you've got a couple different ways you can go about this. You can either click down at the bottom, you can click New, or you can go over to Sublimation and click Sublimation. It really doesn't matter, I don't think, too much which way you start. Then you're going to find all of these listings. So illustrations, photos, logos, templates, there's lots of different things. I'm just going into illustration because that's where lots and lots of cute designs are. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, you're going to just get lost in here looking at all the stuff. Here's our cat friend that, where did it go? I'm losing track of my stuff. Here's my cat friend. Look how cute that is. Ah! So there's our cat friend. We can create. I'm also going to remind you that you can always press heart if you want it to be in your favorites, so you don't want to go looking for it again. If I click create, it's going to pull up, and it's telling me right here, letter size paper in landscape. There's our cat friend. There's lots of things we could do. If we wanted to type, we could do a text. We could do some sort of text. If we wanted to do different things, if we click on the little paper, we can change what kind of paper we want. If I push on him, now we can do different changes. We can move it, we can size it. So you can manually size up and down, but watch this. I just use my fingers and it's resized. And if I look, I can always click on size if I'm trying to figure out, well, what size exactly is that? I can always, if I'm just trying to estimate or I just want a certain size, I can always just move that around. Now I'm going to put this to the side and I will tell you why. I am always trying to get the most out of my supplies, right? But I'm going to need a full sheet of sublimation paper to print anything. So what I have been trying to do, and you can see this here with the birds, I have been trying to pick more than one design, put it on the paper, and then just cut out the design that I want to use. You don't have to do that, but if you know you're going to make several things and they'll fit together, it's just going to save you money and it's going to save you materials. Now, if I click somewhere, so see how there's a little blue box around him. If I just click off of that, I can click plus, and then it's up to me if I want camera roll or printing data. So printing data is all the stuff here in Artspira. So there's lots and lots and lots of options. And let's see. I think it was in Nature where I found this super cute. Well, there's so many cute ones though. I mean, we could do a whole show just thumbing through all of the cute little designs. Here it is. I'll bring this one up big just so you can see it. And then I click done. Look how cute that is. I'm telling you, there are so many good designs here. And then I'm going to click on size, and that's a little bit small, so I'm going to size it up a bit. And again, you can just click on this. You just are clicking up quite a few times versus a little faster with your fingers if you have a further amount to go. Okay, so I'll do that, and then, whoop, that's all right. And then I'll go like that to get it back zoomed out. And I can move everybody around. We can do whatever it is we want to do. I'm going to add just one more. And I'm going to go, where is he? Hang on. I need to be able to see. So I need to be able to see to, okay, so we're going to do one more and we're going to go printing data, illustration. So if you were going to go camera roll, it would be the exact same process. You would just, we'll bring a little puppy dog in here. Exact same process. If you were going to be doing camera roll items, you would just be pulling off of your camera. So if your phone or your camera has the ability to do something like pull out a silhouette, so it's not the background too, you could certainly do that, or leave the background in. That's kind of up to you. Make this guy a little bigger just because. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. And we didn't have to do this many. We could do however many we want or as few as we want. Now, it's asking me if I want to save to Artspira the design. Note that this is not about printing. This is, do I want to save whatever it is I made here or not? My answer is no, because I'm just printing some random things. But if you had, say, brought in text or made something really custom you want to make more than once, you might want to save it. I'm going to click Don't Save. And then it's already got my printer, which is labeled SP1. If I had anything for printing, I would do that. If I needed a heat guide, right down here at the bottom, if you aren't sure or you need a reminder about your specific heat press, remember they're all going to be a little different. They're all going to have different settings and different usage. You click that heat guide and it'll help you out. I'm just going to push print. And this to me is just the craziest part. So I can be sitting on the couch. I can be in another room. I can be anywhere in my house as long as my phone or my tablet is hooked up to the same Wi-Fi as this. It's really kind of a trip to be in a different room and then all of a sudden hear the printer start up because it's printing. And that's it. I really like, while it's printing, I'll show you some examples here. So I mentioned before, there are designs that are almost like fabric, right? That's a full design. I think you guys can see, I'm just exploding with possibilities here. We could do something here where we use the scan and cut to cut parts out or size, like shapes, like a heart or a snowflake or something of the pattern and then transfer that. You know, we can do a lot of different things. We can also, here it is. So here is that same pattern. I cut a piece out and transferred it onto the back side of an ornament, just so the ornament backside was not blank. Now I mentioned we tape it down, and then when you're ready, when it's all done and you peel it off, you can see there's almost no ink left there, right? So we've moved, the ink has moved on over here to Kitty Cat. Isn't that cat just the most fun?
That is adorable.
Oh, and it's already done. See, it pops right out the front. And there are our friends that we printed. There they are. And then it's just up to you. What are you going to make with it? Sizing and knowing your sizing is really important. Here's one that I did. So at this point, I'll show you what, let's do that first. Well, I'm just too excited, you guys. This is just too much fun, and we all need to gather and play with all of the fun things now because, my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to cut these guys apart. And this one, I've got so many things on my desk here. Okay, here we go. So this one, a lot of the blanks, they might have some kind of covering or coating on them to keep it from being scratched. So you would need to pull that off, which I will do hopefully easily. Okay, good. Most of the time it comes off pretty easy. Okay, so we'll just use this kitty cat as an example here. So in this case, the way that I would do this, it is covering and it's going to go over the edges. If you're not okay with that, you would just need to measure and size smaller. I don't mind, so that's just fine with me. I'm just taking the heat safe tape and I would just press this down and then heat up. And if I'm not sure, if I raise this up to the light, I can see where this is. And if I wasn't happy with the position, because I can see through where the ink is and where everything is, I could always adjust it and then press back down if need be. And then you would just put this in your heat press, press it for however long. For these guys, it's been 40 seconds was what was recommended, and it's worked really well. And after your 40 seconds is up, right, your time is up and you're allowed to open it back up, then that's exactly what you do. And this one, I did a really good job making sure this one was taped down. And I mentioned before why we tape it down, because you don't want it to wiggle. Look how darn cute that is.
Oh, May, those are adorable.
And you guys see what I mean about how vibrant it gets.
Yeah, you know, we were just talking about that. I think Sarah was on here recently, and we were talking about how it does make it so much more vibrant. So I'm so glad you're showing the difference there, because it really, like you said, when it printed, you're like, uh-oh. And then there you go. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
look at this one. This is really a really big difference. The dog. The little black and tan dachshund, it's a really big difference.
Oh, you can really tell that one. Yes.
Yeah. So you're not going to stress if you print. And I know I did. I was like, oh, there's no way this is right. Yes, it is. And I mentioned before about the patterns and the designs. Here's one. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's just a design off Artspira that prints out larger. And I just did part of it. And this is the same thing. This is 2 parts of the same design, just printed onto keychains. And I've been sticking with these kinds of materials while I get to know the machine, right? While I get to know how it works and what I need to do and all of that kind of stuff. Then I started getting a little too full of myself here and not taping down and making problems for myself, which, you know what? That's why I would really recommend when you're doing this, you'll want to make sure and work one thing at a time and just kind of get used to it and get to know it. Look at this one. I love this horse one. And these are all in Artspira. These are all in Artspira. And I swear every time I go in there, I'm finding more. I'm finding more and I'm finding more ideas. Now with this one I'm going to do a bunch of rhinestones and beads and stuff and really make this one a funky pouch. I'm excited about this one. That's going to be fun. But they're all fun. In fact, I even tried. I wanted to see if I could get me and my daughter's photo on here. And it did work. The only thing is the photo I was trying to use was a little bit low quality, and I think it would have been better in a bigger size too. But you guys, well, and that's the other thing is I didn't have this. I can see the bleed because I didn't have it tacked down and it wiggled a little. But that's a me problem, right? That's a May, you know what to do and you didn't do it. No, I just wanted to test. I wanted to see if it really, really mattered. And the answer is yes, it does. But remember I was saying how you can cut out a lot of times with your cameras now or your phones now, you can like crop around subjects. So this is a picture of our youngest dog and he was hanging upside down and his teeth were out. Isn't that funny? So he's hanging upside down and his teeth are out. His little tongue is out a little bit. But I cut out, on my phone, cut out all around him. So it's just him. So he's going to hang upside down off the Christmas tree.
Okay, that's so funny, May.
Isn't that funny? I mean, I think you guys are seeing because we can do shirts, we can do bags, we can do pillowcases. And then we can take, once we've got the how-to with the sublimation, we can take that and then add cut files. Like this one I was thinking would be fun with some sticker vinyl on top of it, maybe a word or a phrase of some sort. And I know I've talked about ornaments given the season, but we can turn these into backpack charms, purse charms. I know some people, like if they have their little zipper totes for their planners and stuff, dangle little stuff off of that. We can do just all sorts of things. Like this guy, I was thinking, I've got a little keychain. They came with the little rings, like the keychain rings. So I could stick that on here. And then if you had jump rings, if you had beads, if you had other stuff like that, you could certainly use wire working little tools and stuff. That's what I did here. Just put little wires and we'll put it on top of the printer so you can see it up close too. Couple different examples there. So it doesn't have to be, I know I started out thinking, oh, we're making ornaments, but there's certainly a lot of different options that we can do here. If you wanted an ornament, if you want it to be a little gift topper, you can make a little gift topper. I mean, I don't know about you, Angela, but I'm excited about this.
That is so cute. I think what I really want, May, I don't have a dog, but I really want that dog.
Right? There's so many cute ones. And if you're a cat person, there are so many cats. I'm not a cat person. And even then, look at this guy.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And there's different styles too. So if you're into like the more like cartoon style, that's there. If you're into more graphic design, that's going to be there. naturey outdoor stuff, the patterns. I mean, and then again, we can bring on our own stuff, and we can also do stuff like, here's a pouch I made early on.
Oh.
Where I added rhinestones. I used a fabric glue and added rhinestones in. So we can really mix this up and really customize with the Artspira designs, with our own photos. I'm sure, I don't know about you, my head's exploding. My head's exploding. I can't handle it.
Is like this long, although I have to add those cute keychain things. Those are adorable. And I've got a ton of beads here because I make jewelry, so I could make my own chains. I'm thinking so many different things here. But I have coffee mugs on my list. I have shirts on my list. Those are top two, although you just added another one. There's so many different things. So I don't know about you, but when you go through Artspira, I love that little favorite feature where you can hit favorite. My favorites are really filling up.
Yes, and what I'll do is, like, for example, okay, well, I made my puppy that it's going to be a gift topper already. I'll remove it from favorites if it's getting a little too full there. I'll remove things from favorites. If I've already used it, or if I'm, feeling like, okay, I don't need to remember where this one is. The other thing is, some of them are pretty easy. Like the birds are pretty easy to remember. Birds are with birds. That's an actual tab there in Artspira is birds. And they do have some designs that are sublimation plus either embroidery or scan and cut. Oh. I'm starting to see some designs, and actually this one was one of it. The bold, it had a phrase that you would then download to your scan and cut to cut there to layer on top, because this was originally a much bigger design. And I opted not to do that. I was just after those bold colors, and I wanted to see those bold colors get printed and see what that looked like. But there are starting to do that too. So there are going to be things that you can just brothers helping you cross over, or you guys know we can use our imaginations. There's,
and May, there's been so many times where I've put something on the front of a t-shirt or on fabric, mostly t-shirts in the past, where you bought the sheets at a store, not Brother products, but they were sheets that you'd print and you'd stick them on, and it was stiff. And this is not stiff. These are not stiff when you add them.
No, not at all. Like not at all. It stays completely soft, and you would never know. It's on there. It's just the color has just been soaked into the fabric versus like a paint or a material. Or even the vinyl. Sometimes I want a design on a shirt, but I've always been with vinyl, and I love my vinyl. You guys know I love vinyl, but sometimes, like, especially if it's a really large design on the front of the shirt, it's not going to be as comfortable to wear, or it might not wash as well because or if I want too many layers, too many colors and too many layers, maybe it's just too much for a shirt, but not anymore.
No. This is a game changer. And
now it's like 1 minute or less in the heat press, and we're done.
Yeah, and at your house. You don't even have to leave to do it.
No. And this is also a really good one. I mentioned before, how I'm printing multiple things. It's definitely a good one, I think, to work in a batch, because if you have more than one thing, because you can you can get everything printed out on however many pieces of paper you need. And then with the heat press, you just heat it up once, right? Heat it up, get everybody run through it, and then move on to the next thing. So if you're thinking about, you know what? Excuse me. I know we have Christmas coming right up and winter holidays, but there's always spring. There's always Valentine's. There's always something, birthdays next year, or taking maybe a nice photo at Christmas time or out in the snow, and then doing something with that to gift to somebody who wasn't there or who you want to share something with.
Right.
So many things we can do.
Those ornaments are a game changer. I can already see taking selfies with all my nieces and nephews and having each of us have our own ornaments. Although they all have dogs now. So I'm going to have to try to get a photo with the dog upside down. I think
you know what? If you're thinking about somebody further away, don't forget about their social media. You could always try downloading a picture off their social media.
Oh yeah, that's well, my nieces and nephews are too young, but I could have their parents.
Oh, but mom or dad or aunt or uncle or somebody else's.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, May, this is so much fun. I'm
Isn't
dying
it?
to see what your next project's going to be with this. So we'll be able
You
to
know
see
what?
that
I really
probably.
want to do some decorative pillowcases and I want to do some tote bags, but I've been working my way up. That's the other thing I'd recommend, that with the keychains and with the ornaments, it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So if
Those
we
are,
mess it up, it's not a big deal.
yeah, those are adorable. So just out of curiosity, what comes with the printers? Does it come with some things to get you started?
So the printer came with everything I needed to start, meaning it's capable to connect to Wi-Fi. It's got the paper. It's got the ink. It's got the cord.
Oh,
So,
well, the cord.
Sorry.
Cord's a no-brainer.
You want to
it's
figure
nice
out where
that
you want to
can
plug it in. Now, I plugged it in. It looks like it lives on my desk. It actually lives on a shelf at the sewing desk. Because if I'm just printing and not live, it can print right there. It sits right there. When I'm ready, I grab the paper. But if we're live, it can still move here, because the one thing you do want to do is keep it plugged in. You don't want to unplug it and replug it. You want to leave it plugged in. Every once in a while, it'll run a little check on itself and clean it, the print nozzle stuff. I think that's the right word. But it'll run a little check on itself and keep itself in good condition. So you want to leave it plugged in.
Okay.
So that's why I did that, because then, I mean, it's not pretty over here. You guys can't see, but it's not the prettiest at the moment. There's the nice big black cord running across here. But see, I've got it. That's, you know what else you got? And we'll see if anybody notices that that is a sketch right back there, just waiting its turn.
You know, let me put my glasses on. I was thinking, you got a lot of fun stuff over there. That is super fun.
Actually, the box was opened, but then I put it all back for this. But it's up next. I just wanted to get a lot more comfortable here before I started a whole new thing. But even then, it's really not going to feel that new, because again, we've got Artspira.
Right.
So Artspira will hold my hand and walk me right through it. It's so user friendly.
Oh, and there's such great projects on there. Such great projects.
Yeah, and if you don't want to, just me, I don't ever get to the projects usually, because I see a design, I get an idea, and I just run away.
Yeah.
But if you're feeling stuck or you want some help, especially if you've got that scan and cut and you haven't used it yet, there's so many projects in there that walk you right through. Or if this would be another great one to just walk right through.
So I would just love to know in the comments, have you played with Artspira? Number one. Number two, it's free. Download the app. They also have a paid version, but there is a free version that you can use. It's just there's more designs in the paid version. But there's embroidery, there's printing, there's fabric printing. I've got the print moda behind me way back there. You can see by my dress form. There's so many fun things all within that. And I love that, May. There's so many.
There are. And if you want to check out the paid version, so I have the paid version. If you want to check it out, you can have a free trial too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you want to check it out and you're like, I'm not sure. And canceling it is super easy. There's just on your tablet or your phone settings, there's just a button to push, no longer want this, and there you go.
Wonderful. May, this was a great inspirational project for sure.
I'm just, you know what? And again, these are very inexpensive, which is why I like them for starting. You know, because I'm not feeling like super wasteful if I mess it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I'm like, okay, we're ready. We're going to step it up. I'm not ready for clothing yet, but soon.
Well, we're looking forward to that one. So this is a super easy project. Great to do before. You got Christmas coming up. You've got New Year's. You've got all of the other things coming up through the holidays. Something easy to do. A great gift as well.
Yeah, it's super fun. I can't wait to see everybody's projects, because I know these are going out. So be sure to tag brother and let's see.
All right. Sounds good. I did put your website down below. I have Brother Sews down below. If you scroll to the bottom there, they have 2 blogs, a sewing and a crafting. You don't want to miss it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook, follow. And if you want to watch the replay on Facebook, it's the easiest if you just share it to your page, your own profile, because then you can just go back and watch it easily. All right. May, this was a great project. I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, because I probably won't see you before then.
Thank you. You too. This has been so fun.
So fun. And I will see you on Instagram to see what else you're creating.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you for joining us. And be sure to leave comments of what you're doing with the Sublimation printer, or are you adding it on your Santa list? All right. Till next time, happy sewing and